What's up, guys? Let's talk about microsampling and the latest developments in this adventure. So, microsampling is taking a very small sample or even a single cycle and using that as an audio source. And I'll give you an example. So, this is a sound, right? A little microsample, and I can tell by looking at it that it's a repeating waveform. What I'll do is I'll actually drag it in here. And yeah, you can see it. You can see the actual duty cycle of this waveform here. And it could be like the beginning of a kick or something like that. But it does repeat. So if we were to sample that, we would get something really cool going on. So I'll just drag that into here. And I'll turn off snapping. And essentially what you do is you click loop and you select a area. And you can sample some awesomeness here. You want to get it at the, we'll get it at the, maybe, you know what? Maybe here at this zero crossing. No, actually, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to start it right up here. So this is how we're going to do it, right at the top of that friend. And then right over here at the top of this friend. So it's a repeating cycle. Now, if I turn it up, I have to. Right, you have a farting bass that is not a single cycle. It just repeats on and on and on. Let's take this a step further. And this is essentially how we used to go about doing it. But, it's really kind of sterile. You have your filters and stuff. But let's upgrade this for the new decade that we are in. And we are going to be using Wavetable. We're going to be using Wavetable to do this. And we're going to do this for a few reasons, because Wavetable will automatically, I guess, set it so, you don't have to find the key, right? And it does a pretty decent job of, finding the duty cycle and repeating it. And there's these cool little harmonics there. But yeah, we can find one that's kind of triangly, Right, I'll just do this just for the sake of example here. Right, something like that, or something a little bit fuzzier. Right, something a bit fuzzier over there, more like sinusoidal, I guess. And then more kind of at the beginning of the sound. This is kind of not correct, but there's an interesting result. Benefit to this is that, again, you don't need to find the key and tune it and stuff like that. It's automagic. So that looks pretty cool to me. I'll actually pick the one that's more triangly. So what are we going to do to make this sound a little more natural? That's a good one. Okay. First off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a bit of meat. I'm going to select the MS2 filter mode and just give it a bit of drive. And I'll bring the volume down. All right, so that's pretty cool. Let's get the amplitude envelope popping. I said popping. This is an important way to make it sound more natural. Like when a real amplifier envelope opens up, it's a snap. There's always a snap to it, and then it kind of rests. And for, a lot of the sounds that I like to make, I like to have, that kind of snappiness to it. Right, so I'm just going to do this. And give it a bit of a release there, and give the attack a slight bit of attack. That's to prevent clicks. And I'll just boost the volume. Right, you hear that that little snappiness at the beginning? Right, I'll show you what that sounds like when you don't have that. This one right here just sounds like it's like a well, it's just it opens up. There's nothing special. This one right here has a snappiness to it, and it takes to compression well, and there's clarity in kind of what it's doing, and that's really kind of the starting point adventure for microsampling. And you know, it used to be called that. Now it's drag a sound file into Wavetable or SERM or what have you. And definitely not Massive X. Can't do that. But yeah, this is a general kind of workflow. You can also maybe automate movement and get some movement in there. Makes it seem a little bit more lively. You can have this mapped to an LFO, right? The wavetable position mapped to LFO1 with that amount. I'm actually just going to make that bigger. And what this does is this will kind of not so much do that. I don't want it to retrigger. That's a little bit too much, but I can bring it down, and this will create some movement and interpolate nearby frames into the center one. And that can do some pretty cool stuff. Maybe we can select, yeah, maybe more of a triangle. And maybe have a slower rate. Right? And that is essentially it, really. We can also, cycle through. Let's just see what this does. Right? And maybe re-triggering would be a little bit more appropriate for this one, so we have more consistency in the sound. Right? How it opens up. That's pretty dope. Right? It's more of an envelope to it, more of a snappiness to it, which adds to the sound. They'd be like, "Bro, how'd you make that?" And you'd be like, "I didn't," or whatever you want to say. And then you guys continue moving along here. Right? And you can easily get into, I guess, accidents. Fun accidents if you have these very large folders of synth sound. This is actually X for Records sample pack from back in the day. Where you hover around that sine wave there. Right, and if you're feeling adventurous, you can map this to an envelope. If you wish, we can just bypass that. Oh, maybe this way. Right, and it has to do with the drive as well. I like the drive just because it smushes it together in a pleasing way. Right, you can't do this with a whole lot of other wavetable synths. You can't just cycle through an entire folder. I didn't even import. I just imported one, really. Right? In key every time. It's pretty cool. right? And you can just get some cool stuff. And these are, again, selecting raw just doesn't kind of truncate the frames to a particular key. It's just they split them up. This actually makes a lot more sense to do it this way. Right, mixed with that amplifier envelope and all that other stuff, just lends to a really cool sound. And it's all about like happy accidents. So maybe I'll find something, right? Initiate oscillator 2, add a little bit of a triangle maybe, and bring it down an octave. And eh. Right, and then we got, I don't know what you call it, sub bass maybe? Oh, there's already a sub there. What am I even doing? Nice. I apologize to anyone's ears. Right. Might want to invert that. Oh. I'm frightened. This one's chaos. That might happen. But yeah, it captures it and interpolates it quite well. When I say interpolating, it's mixing between. You have your frames here. Each one of these is a frame, and when you interpolate between two frames, you're interpolating between them using essentially math and all that fun stuff. Right. All right. So let's continue with other things that you can take, and you can take kicks, of course. Because kicks have a very interesting thing at the beginning. Right? We used to make basses out of kicks a lot of the time, but they were a pain to tune and stuff like that. So we can interpolate between the initial and one of these. Just for the sake of example. You can also take hi-hats. They have a lot of interesting frequency content, like so. Probably not the best example. You could maybe use this as like an FM source or something. Whereas this is I guess it's like hard synced almost. Sounds like it. And adjust the tone. Something like that. Okay, let's move on to. Oh yeah, these percussive elements. These are really fun. and you get a lot of you get a lot of mileage out of these percussive sounds just because they're rich in harmonic content. Things like that. Right, this is just, it almost sounds like it's distorted. Right. You always need that sub bass. Okay, this is cool. So this is, yeah, percussive element 303. Wow, I'm already way down there. What was the original one? That. That is now this. Right, and let's bring that gain down a bit. And this right here, maybe map that to LFO, or envelope 2 again. The inverse, actually. I really like that, and it's a good starting point for basses that you'd be like, how do I even do that in a subtractive synthesizer? Well, you don't need to do that. You just go through things, and you get unexpected results. I would never guess that 303, that right there, would turn into this. All right, give it a bit of EQ. And then there you have your super awesome, cool house bass, electro bass thing. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hope you learned stuff. Take care and have a good one.